What's happening, Asphalt Lifers? This is Stan coming to you with another edition of Atlas Pro Talk. We are joined by somebody very special coming to us from the great state of Tennessee over in the Memphis market, Mr. Troy Fiveash. Troy, how are you today?
I'm well, Stan. Thank you.
Good to see you, man. You're all stacked up in the background. You got your Atlas stuffed animal buddies. You got your awards, your wall of awards. Old Rufus over there is just hugging your diamond awards. So you guys are looking good, man. Looking good in that office.
Well, you gotta believe in what you sell, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. And we also got the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Mike Walker, the world traveler, the custom background maker extraordinary. What's up, Mike? How you doing?
Good afternoon. Happy Monday, everybody. Everything's good.
It might not be Monday when people are watching it, but hey, that'll work too. Happy whatever day it is.
That's right.
Yeah. Well, good stuff. Well, let me start with this because we were just mentioning it. You got a couple of really beautiful natural expression roofs behind you, Mike. And the one over on the right-hand side is a special color called Coastal Granite on somebody very special's roof. Whose roof is that?
Well, it's a gentleman that's sitting in this little video conference we have over there in the black shirt, Mr. Troy Fiveash.
Hello.
Troy, you happy with your Coastal Granite roof? Let's sort of turn the tables on you, man. We'll be the.
I do. Honestly, I always thought gray was one of the weak spots in your color lineup, but Coastal Granite fixed that.
Good.
It's one of our most popular grays now that we sell, and now a lot of our customers know where I live because they come by and look at it before they pull the trigger. So,
I'm sure that puts a little added pressure on making sure you guys do a good job for those customers when they know where you live, right?
Yeah, you would think. Don't want them knocking on my door at midnight on Saturday.
Exactly. Well, Troy, I'm so excited to be able to chat with you. You run an unbelievably successful business and have for a long time. But before we get into your roofing background, I understand that you were a DJ in another life. So how do you go from DJ to owner of a very successful roofing company many years later? Or are you moonlighting as a DJ on the side and nobody knows about it? What's up with that?
No, first, I'm not. I don't do this anymore. Good morning, everybody. No more. I DJ'd for a very short period of time in the early 80s when they all talked like this. And I did it long enough to figure out I could not make any money at it. Yeah. So I got out. But what I learned back then, I actually went to broadcasting school. I now use in my radio ads. So in the long run, all of that paid off for me because my ads seemed to be fairly successful for whatever reason. Yeah.
Well, what is it about those radio ads? I mean, what did you learn? What do you apply? What gets people's attention when they're driving down the highway to listen to somebody that's selling a roof?
Well, I'd like to think I don't sound like the guy that's never been behind a microphone before, who doesn't enunciate properly and says for instead of fur, and just the little things. And I hear these people doing their own ads all the time, and they really should hire a professional to do it. Now, I've tried to hire some local air talent, and they've all told me, no, your ads are fine. You don't want someone else. You do it yourself. So I do. Yeah. I write them. I believe in what I'm saying. I think it comes across as honest and sincere and believable. And people tell me that when I speak to them, they'll recognize the voice, and they said, you sound really believable, and it's because I believe what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's awesome. Mike, what have you observed about the way Troy and his team go to market, versus other guys, maybe not, having as much success or trying to figure it out? What are the X factors that you've observed, Mike, in doing business and having a relationship with Troy for the last many years?
One thing, basically, Troy's company is Troy and his two sons. And basically, Troy's instilled in them the same quality of doing business that he's always had. And basically, I think even his competitors, when you hear Fiveash Roofing, they know Troy is one of the most quality guys out there they're competing with. And that's just always been his MO. And I've just been honored to get a chance to work with Troy because of the way he goes to market, how quality he is. And he's just a stand-up guy, not just saying that, but he is.
Yeah. Not read yet?
You had a nice tan to begin with, so
Well,
I
yeah,
think you're
I think I'm
masking
going
it
red.
well. Well, Mike, those are awesome words and very true words. I think, Troy, you run a great business and you're very well respected, and that's what you want, right? You want to be somebody that's viewed as respected by your competitors. I didn't actually introduce this guy. I apologize, Mike. We just got right in. I was so excited to ask you about your DJ days, Troy. But Mr. Mike Walker, Mike, you are a multi-time 5-star award winner, Pro Force member here at Atlas Roofing. So Mike Walker, our wonderful rep. Mike, you doing good today, man?
I'm fantastic. Greetings.
Good. Well, Troy, let's transition into, why you got into this business. So you went from a broadcasting background. How did you identify the roofing business as something that you thought you could get in and be successful? Did you start by working at other companies, or did you start your own business right off the bat? Tell us a little bit about how you got here.
I actually didn't start in construction of any sort professionally until I was 38, which is 20 years ago, a little over. But I started doing remodeling and stuff in the late 90s, 98, and did exterior, interior, some roofs, subbed out some roofs and siding and painting and that kind of thing. And the economy really in 08, 09, when the housing bubble burst, nobody was spending any money inside a house. And so it forced me on the outside of the house. And as a result, I found my niche in the world, and built a reputation of doing quality work, fair price, stand behind what we do what we say. And it's worked out so far.
Yeah. And you do multiple trades. So you guys do gutters, you guys do hardy siding, you do, other things. Are those things really more to accommodate customers that are looking for you to do both? Or do you really have sort of dedicated sales efforts for those other services as well? How do you approach it?
No, we don't have, our dedicated sales is Atlas shingles. That's all that we really do. Now we do commercial roofs as well. But we get those leads, or people call us because they've heard about us through our shingle roofing. The siding gutters is because we're putting a roof on their house and they need gutters or they need siding.
Right.
And it's a tack-on, it's an add-on. Probably 1 job, 2 jobs a month are strictly siding or gutters with no roof attached. So it's mostly add-ons to the roofing. Shingle.
Well, one of the things I always love when I hear, I always smile because everybody says this about every market is, oh, you just don't understand my market, right? It's just a cheap market. It's full of people just out there really lowball, and you guys are not the cheapest in your marketplace, right? So what would be your response to this? Memphis is you guys got any guys running around with cheap numbers in Memphis?
Yes. And to coin the phrase that has been coined before, Chuck in his truck. He runs around, doesn't have the insurance, doesn't have the experience, it's not going to be around in 5 years when you have an issue with your roof to take care of it. Right. Yes, there are those guys. There are also the other roofing companies in Memphis that are well established, but most of them are the insurance chasers, the storm chasers, and I don't say that in any derogatory fashion. But that's not my business model. Right. I do insurance work. I will accept insurance work. I have no canvassers whatsoever. We do not knock on doors. My outside sales force is myself and Rob, my middle son. My office staff is myself and my oldest son, David. And so we run a very small, compact business. Every customer deals with all 3 Fiveashes that are involved. I have a 16-year-old son that's going to join us one day. And so but every customer deals with the Fiveash. They don't deal with sales that will say anything to close the job. We don't do that. We will pass up a job if we know we can't meet the customer's expectations. Not because we can't do the work, but because maybe their expectations are unrealistic. And we have done that. And I hate to do that, but we have. But the majority of the roofing companies in the Memphis area that are successful, and there are several that do quality work, are in the insurance game more than we are.
So a lot more on the remodel side, it sounds like, and when you focus on that segment, generating leads in different ways, not out canvassing. You mentioned radio. You guys do radio advertising. You built that brand up. how do you position that brand in your marketplace? You know, what are those messages that you're getting, those phone calls that you're getting, those people saying, that's who I want to do my roof?
I think it's simply because it's family based.
Yeah.
We're not the oldest roofing company in Memphis, but we've been around 20 years. That's longer than most.
Yeah.
As you can tell, I'm an old man, and people like to see that seasoned person. Some people shy away from the younger when there's not a seasoned person working with them. And it's just the honesty and sincerity that we try to put forward. We will give you the best products that we can possibly give you. We will give you the best service that we can possibly give you. We will give you a very fair price, and we will do what we say when we say.
Yeah.
And I've done that enough times now, over 20 years, that word's gotten out that, yeah, they really do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
That seems to stick. We advertise heavily on a couple of radio stations in Memphis. None of them are music stations. They're all talk-based stations, sports and news and things like that, because people listen to those ads. I think radio people, you're driving down the road, listen to radio, commercial comes on, you change station.
Yeah.
So I stay away from the music stations. So
yeah. But that's good basic advice, I think, for sure. I can attest to that too. When I'm driving down the road, listening to the news station or sports radio, I tend to sort of be a little more in tune. And those commercials tend to blend into the programming a little bit more naturally as well. You said a couple of things that I want to sort of, just circle back on and have you expand upon a little bit. When you call, you're going to deal with a Fiveash. That's the name, that's the family, that's part of who you're doing business with. I think that's really powerful, so your son's being involved in the business in different capacities. That's really powerful thing. So as a family business, the way you position that, I think is really big. And then you mentioned we've been doing this long enough that we got enough people that, know we do good work and that word has traveled. Talk to me about how you use referrals and testimonials in your business to sort of get new business. Do you guys actively promote testimonials? Do you refer? Do you send, when you talk to somebody and they ask for referrals, do you give them a list of people they can call? How do you use that past customer list to your advantage?
We have a list of homes. Every home we've put on in the last, 4 years is on a list that we send out with addresses. There's no names and no contact numbers. Drive by, look at the house. This is what your shingle will look like with this type of house, that type of list. As far as referrals, yes, people tell me, hey, give my number out all you want to. I'll talk good about you. I'll tell you whatever. And there's a couple of them that I have used. Honestly, I shy away from that.
Yeah.
Not because I don't want prospective customers talking to old customers. It's because I want to respect the privacy of my established customers.
Yeah.
And I don't want them calling at dinner time. And I don't want them knocking, calling at 8 o'clock at night when the family's sitting around watching TV or whatever they're doing. I don't like it when my phone rings at 8 o'clock and somebody I don't know is asking me something I don't know anything about. And so I shy away from it. Now, if they're insistent, I really want to talk to a couple of people and they're not happy with the Facebook comments or the BBB comments or the Google reviews comments, and they want to physically talk to somebody, I will call a customer and say, I have someone that wants to speak with somebody. When would be a good time?
Right.
Then I'll tell the customer, you can call this person during this window of time and they'll be glad to talk to you. Yeah. So that's the way I handle it. I have hired a company because we are such small staff. I'm limited on time as to how many social media platforms I can work just within our little small group. So I've hired outside firms to promote the Instagram and the Facebook and the Twitter and all of those things. And quite honestly, my radio ads and my reputation and my referral system that just seems to have built itself really is all I need. Yeah. Because once we get in front of the customer, our chances of closing that customer are really high. Yeah. We're not closing 10 or 20% of the people we talk to. We close a lot higher rate than that. So I don't need 100 leads to get 20 roofs. Right. I need, I need 40. So it's a little different situation.
Yeah, that's great. Well, tell me a little bit about, being a family business with Rob and David getting into the business with you. Were they reluctant? Were they excited? Did they really want to get into the business with you? How did that work out? Give me a sense of what their path into the business looked like. And maybe it was different for each of them.
It was different for each of them. It's kind of funny. As teenagers, they would go out on the jobs, and excuse me, David's 31, Rob's 29. And so they would go out on the jobs and get the crap jobs, crap duties, clean up and haul in, and which they did not enjoy. But it's what they had to do. And back then we were doing everything: tile work, remodeling, painting, whatever it was. They got the hard job nobody else wanted.
Right.
And so neither one of them, straight out of high school, had any interest whatsoever in joining the company.
Yeah.
Rob got into management, into retail, and learned actually very valuable people skills.
Yeah.
And he got disheartened with that and decided he wanted to come work for me. And so he did, and has done a fabulous job. And then David actually, and both of them grew up in the Chicago area with their mother.
Yeah.
Rob moved down here as soon as he got to high school. Then David went to college, got a degree in teaching, got a little disheartened with that, and moved down here and went to work for me. And he's now been in the office, I guess, 2 years now, and has really upped the level of organization within the office. Because anyone that knows me, the fact that this desk area here is clean, myth. It's a complete myth. So, but it's David is the organized one in here. Rob is really good with the people, and I do what's needed.
Yeah. Well, that's pretty neat that they found their way to your business in those different ways, and they're bringing things that are very much about how to run a good business, be organized. I imagine, running that retail side of things, that Rob did. He went down that path for a while. I was in the service industry. I bartended for 5 years. You pick up important skills in any job you're in, right? So I think that's important. Then you just got to figure out how you can translate into the next thing. So that's great. When you mentioned your 16-year-old, man, he's going to come in the business. Does he know that yet, or is he excited about it? Or you already got him slinging shingles?
He does. He's not nailing. And this is an overprotective father.
Yeah.
He plays tennis. He's trying to get a tennis scholarship to college.
Good for him.
And I don't really want him walking on 12 pitches and messing up his knees and ankles. So he does work some. He works on the ground, cleaning, and he's not afraid of the work. But yeah, he claims one day he's going to go to college, get a business degree, come in here and take over. There you
go.
That's not my words. That's his. He's going to take over. And I don't have any doubt that he will try. He may run into a couple of brick walls, though.
That Rob and David?
That would be Rob and David. Yeah, that's a couple.
Well, that's good.
That'll brick walls he's going to have to climb over to take over, because I'm going to step out of here. I like to think of myself now as semi-retired, so that I don't feel guilty when I play golf or go on a cruise or go scuba diving or any of the things that I like to do. I'm not semi-retired. I still come to work pretty much every day, but that's kind of my mindset now. And as time goes on, as they take over more and more, then I will step out a little more.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. I think they're all going to bring very different things to the table, and that little sense of competition, I'm sure, will make it all that much better as they come into their own. So, well, Mike, I want to pivot and ask you a question a little bit about the industry, and then Troy, we'll come back to you and ask you really the same thing. So, Troy, you've been, running this business for 20 years. Mike, you've been in this business a long time. Mike, what have been the biggest changes that you've seen in this industry that you've been a part of for so long? And particularly in the last 10 years, 5 years, what are you, most surprised at, and what are the things that you're most impressed about by what our industry has become and evolved into?
Well, from my perspective, I just from Atlas, because I had some distribution background before I started with Atlas, but Atlas basically was always been a great company. But to see how we have got out in front of the nation, I feel, with the marketing that has been done, and Stan just give you you are very instrumental in getting that foot going in that race. And to me, I don't think anybody really does a better job of marketing their products than Atlas anymore. And basically, anybody that basically has had the opportunity to really try and use Atlas and use our system, I haven't seen anybody that's been anything but wowed by how awesome Atlas has been to support contractors. And plus, I just been blessed also to have some really good contractors. Troy, there's nobody better than Troy. I tell him that all the time. You know, I've got some great guys, but you know, there's only one Troy Fiveash, and I appreciate him a bunch. But that,
I, not to interrupt, but what Mike's not telling you is he had to beat me over there with the shovel to get me to get home with him.
Yeah, I heard that story.
Yeah, he came in, cold called me, and I was like, "No, I'm happy with what I'm doing. I'm good." He was like, "No, I really need to talk to you." And he stayed after me. He wasn't overbearing, but he was obviously doing his job. And you know, we started. What was it?
5 years ago.
Yeah, but it was late in the year. I think it was July before I put on the first roof that year, and we made platinum the first year.
Yeah.
And we've done it every year since. Pretty easily. And so I'm waiting on my next diamond plaque. So, but you know, so Mike deserves a lot of credit for whatever success you have in this part of the country where Mike works. I can tell you, he has earned it for Atlas.
Absolutely.
When he retires, I'm retiring because I ain't dealing with it.
All right,
we
Mike,
got a lot of cruises
about your
to go
contract extension, buddy.
We got a lot of traveling to do before then.
Yes, that's true. Well, and Mike is a world traveler. I guess I'll ask both of you. So, where are the coolest places? It's so painful to sort of be forced not to travel for me because I love to go and I love to dream up that next big trip. And we had a big trip planned this year overseas with our family that we had to cancel. But where are the last couple of big trips you guys have both taken? So, Mike, we'll start with you, and then we'll go to you, Troy.
Of course, the last one, Stan, I think I texted you, sent you some pictures. We were over in Thailand, Malaysia, Indonesia. Yeah. That was a fun trip. But I'll never will say, if anybody gets a chance to go to Egypt, that's just totally unbelievable. Of course, Jerusalem was right there with it, and then Rome is real close to it, and there's a bunch of other places. But in that order, those three. So, and you know, there's just lots of great places to go. You know, I've been blessed. We have done some traveling, got some more. We're supposed to be leaving next week, going to France and Normandy, but that got canceled too, Stan. So my empathy goes to you there.
I feel your pain, Troy. What about you, man? Where have you been in the last couple of years that you just love to go, man?
Well, my favorite trip that we've ever been on was Alaska, believe it or not.
Oh, yeah.
Took the train ride down through Denali and then took a week cruise down the coast. And we just, everywhere you look was a postcard.
Yeah.
We've been to Hawaii. Loved Hawaii. I've yet to be to Europe. We're going to Germany next summer with a school trip as chaperones for.
Oh, nice.
So we're looking forward to that. We're going to do Germany and Paris and probably stay another week and get a card, get a train pass or something and see a little bit more. But to this point, Alaska's been, the beauty is beyond description.
Agreed.
High on my bucket list. I'm dying to get up there myself. I'd love to do it. We the last overseas January.
Go in January. You'll love it. Yeah, no.
I was gonna say I was trying to figure out, am I being punked here? No. I'm gonna go book a trip. I got a really good deal.
I would say June or July would be good. Yeah.
May as early as you want to go.
Yeah.
The town that is adjacent to the Denali State Park, that during the summer months when tourism up, they have 2,300 residents in that town.
Wow.
In the winter, they have 8.
Oh my God, that's crazy.
8.
Oh, it is.
So, I was like, 8. Don't 8. I think of The Shining, you know.
Exactly.
That's right. Yeah,
that's awesome.
Of course, the other thing Troy hasn't brought up is his fantastic golfing career.
Diving.
Golfing.
Okay. See, we needed a Mississippi translator there, Mike. Sorry, buddy.
To have a career at golfing, you have to make money at it. And no, I love to play. I do enjoy playing. And when I catch the ball well, I catch the ball well. When I don't, I don't. So, but I enjoy playing. That's one of my 4 hobbies, I guess.
Yeah.
Golf, scuba diving, poker playing, and going on cruises.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
it.
Good. Yeah, I don't know about the cruise thing, man. I don't know how you'd have to pay me. I don't even know if there's the amount of money you could pay me to get on a cruise ship for a while. So, but we'll see. Things are going to be changed. We just don't know how permanently, I guess. But
If they would open up a boat tomorrow, I'd be on it.
All right.
I ain't scared.
You ain't scared of no ghosts, huh?
I ain't scared of no ghosts. Mike's the one probably brought back the COVID when he was in Indonesia.
Yeah, well, we were happy you got back, buddy.
Yep.
Well, that's where we were supposed to be, Mike. I don't know if I told you, but we were supposed to be in Thailand, actually. So my wife and I took a trip to Malaysia, Thailand, and Cambodia back in 2006 before kids. And we were going to take our kids back to this nature preserve where they rehabilitate elephants, all these years later. But we'll have to get there at some point, but certainly not this year. So. Well, guys, it's been great chatting. I want to give a shout out to all of our Asphalt Lifers that have been following along with us. If you're looking to follow a really successful business and somebody who is doing it the right way, look no further than Troy Fiveash and their whole team over at Fiveash. Troy, give us a sense of, sort of what you're hoping for, coming out of this COVID situation. We've been asking everybody this, do you have any thoughts on it? Obviously, you're ready to go jump on a cruise ship, so you may be a little bit further down the line than some of us, but, how do you see things changing? What are you hoping for? Any thoughts to kind of get people pumped up to get back to work?
Well, all right, without getting too crazy, I don't like the new normal. I don't like that term. Normal is normal. There's no new or old normal. It's just normal.
Yeah.
And I realize things are changing and the world is changing. And we've had major pandemics in our history, not in my lifetime, but in history. And we recover from them and we go back to normal. I'd like to see that. Do I think that'll be in 2020? No. 21, doubtful. Maybe 22, where we get back to completely. Hopefully by then we'll have proper medicines as well as maybe a vaccine. Excuse me. So we can get back to the new normal. I think there's been some overreaction and there's been some underreaction. I think there's both sides of that.
Yeah.
What I personally am looking for is to get back to normal. From a business standpoint, we have stayed steady through all of this. You need a roof, you need a roof. Doesn't matter, what's going on, you need a roof. But if I'm being honest, we have slowed down a little bit. It's been steady, but January, February, and March were just outstanding, stellar months. And it died down a little bit since then. But we've stayed steady. We're working every day. I got absolutely nothing to complain about. But I would like to see the people of the world, for that matter, not just the states here, but and the leaders, the politicians, no matter what side of the aisle you sit on. I'd like to see everyone stop trying to sensationalize things. Let's stick to the facts, fix the problem, and get back to normal. Yeah, that's what I personally would like to see.
Yeah, people in jobs, unemployment coming down, the economy starting to climb back, in ways that don't have perceived bubbles out there. And yeah, I agree. I think that we live in an amazing country with amazing opportunity, and we want to see it get back to those levels that we've been used to. So it does take getting in the messy middle. There are a lot of people use that term, and stop worrying about these fringe arguments that really are not benefiting anybody that's really in the middle of this whole thing. So I appreciate those thoughts, Troy, very much. Well, Mike, any closing thoughts for the Asphalt Lifers? Oh, go ahead, Troy.
I was just going to say, the people that are talking the loudest have the most to gain.
Yeah. Cheers to that. If I had my beer with me, I'd give you a cheers to that one.
So anyway.
The only thing I'll say, Stan, is basically, this has been a fantastic ride being with Atlas. Atlas is doing nothing but going up the hill every day and getting stronger and stronger. If you're on the fence and haven't tried Atlas, give your rep or contact somebody, and I think it'll make a difference in your business tremendously.
Or call your competitor who uses Atlas. People call me other competitors. I know every roofer in Memphis or everyone that's worth his salt. And I've had them just point blank ask me, why are you using Atlas? And I tell them, higher wind rating, wider nail strip, double seal, thicker, heavier, longer, bigger, easier, and the rep and Mike and you, Stan, I've dealt with you on a few things over the years. It doesn't matter what I need. It's taken care of immediately. Not, I'll get back to you. It's I'm on it. And I've told my competitors who are now using as much Atlas in Memphis as I am, which is a little disheartening, but I'll get over
Mike.
I'll get over it.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, hey, that's all we can hope to do is be responsive. I think at the end of the day, that's what we all have to do. We're all in customer service at the end of the day, but we're also building relationships and friendships with people that we want to, be able to look in the eye and say we did all we could. We strike out a lot. I think the last conversation you and I had was about something that we put out that wasn't very good, and we just had to sort of own that and figure out a path forward. So I think that's what we try to do every day is just be honest with ourselves and listen and try to pivot forward. So. But guys, great conversation. Really appreciate you taking the time. And to our Asphalt Lifers watching, we appreciate all you do. Have a great rest of your week. And let's hold that Diamond Award up. If you want to get to Diamond, give Mr. Fiveash a call. He'll tell you all about how to get there. And we'll look forward to seeing you face to face once we're able to have our Platinum and Diamond Conference next year, but a lot of fun things coming for that group of platinum contractors here in August when we have our virtual platinum conference. So look forward for that. So, all right, guys, have a good one. We'll see you later. Live, Roof, Play.
Adios. Bye.
Bye-bye.